Hello, and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Shariann.
Today, we're talking about the experience of cancer in the frame of I have cancer and I am tired and angry, and how it's totally okay to be in that space. And so, we just want to talk about what that space feels like and acknowledge it. But before we jump in, we're going to start with our pest check in, and I want to go first.
Okay.
Okay, so physically I am 4.4, emotionally a 4.7, spirit is a 4.25, and hope is a 4.35. My word is listening.
Okay, my turn. Physically, I am a 4. Emotionally, 4.3. Spirit, 4.6. Hope, 4.45. And my word is open.
Okay, so I have cancer and I am tired and angry. I think this is a sentiment that many cancer patients especially feel, but survivors can obviously deeply relate, and caregivers, I mean, like being tired and angry is a very human experience. It is quite different to have that experience when you're in treatment, like if you are going through chemo or something like that, but it's definitely something that we can all relate to. With the idea of toxic positivity sometimes being around cancer so often, it can be hard to feel like there is a safe space to say I'm tired and angry.
Yeah, that word tired, not that it triggers me, but it brings up a lot. And it's kind of like love. It doesn't go deep enough. Like you want another word to explain how you're feeling while you're on a cancer journey. And this goes with the caregivers too. It's not I'm tired, though we use that kind of as a ubiquitous word. We're really beyond exhausted. I have said so many times because I've had so many cancer journeys. This is bone reaching exhaustion. It's like I think I explained to you earlier, it's like I couldn't even lift my arm like this. It felt so efforting. And so forget about washing my hair. It was like, how am I going to do this for many minutes in the shower? Yeah, that feeling of fatigue is all encompassing because it starts with the body, but then it goes to every level of our inner being. Our emotions are like all the way down in the constricting, and our mindset is like, I can't do anything. I'm just a lump on the sofa or a chair. Flicker, little flicker.
Yeah, and it feels also just like this cycle, right? Because right now it's a little different because you're explaining how it felt and like the impact of this tiredness, but when you're like in it, you're not even thinking about it. It's just like it's so all encompassing, as you said. It's so physical, mental, emotional, spiritual that like it just takes everything out of you. And then when you have that like mental place of being like, I'm just a lump on the couch, I'll just be tired. And it's this like self-fulfilling prophecy of feeling tired. And that really is draining on your emotional state too, because you start to feel like you can't do anything. That same tiredness, it feels also goes along with kind of chemo brain and that slowing down and feeling like you're not as quick as you were before. And so that can also contribute to that too. And I think that when we say like tired and angry, we really also would mean like frustrated, like so frustrated that like sometimes when we're frustrated, like it comes out all in fire, but your fire is so dulled down when you're tired, right? So you're just like, man, that's just like all internal and it all feels like a fluster and it's just like a really quiet scream, loud scream.
I totally go with the loud screen. It's like your nerves are on the surface because you have no reserves, right? There's no energy to protect yourself from whatever. And it could just be somebody who says, you're going to have to wait 5 extra minutes. And you're like, I've been waiting forever. I mean, right? It's that trigger is so sensitive. And all of a sudden, all you can do is like scream, not scream, but it's like, I think you call it fire. And it's like, let it all out. And that's that anger that there's no capacity to suppress, repress, push down any of that. It's like, "Ah, you hit me, you touched my nerve. and I'm just going to explode.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I was also saying like a quiet scream is because you're tired. You know, at a certain point, it's like, are you really screaming your full force and like letting that happen? And so sometimes it feels like if someone's on a cancer journey and they're exhausted, sometimes they just like eat that frustration and like internalize it. And
Absolutely.
so what's coming up for me too is like when you're on a cancer journey, you're so tired. So there's no filter, right? There's no like, oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to hurt someone's feelings. There's also this clarity too, where it's like, I really don't care right now. I don't care because like there's so much hopelessness here too, right? And so I can easily feel this like mental space, maybe even this negative ego being like, who cares if I hurt someone's feelings? I might die. Like it doesn't matter. And so like it feels really angry and toxic in here, right? And I wonder if it's also because there isn't a lot of ways to release it. Because when you are also at that point where there is no filter, you almost just don't care what the impact is at all, and you don't have the energy to hold back. And I'm not even suggesting that anyone should. So what's coming up for me is that we really, really need an extra safe space. So I guess my wonder is for someone who has really been through this experience and knows what that like full everything exhaustion is, like what do you really need in those moments?
Probably so many things. And let me just slow myself down here because this is a very charged conversation and topic because I can relate to definitely the patient standpoint. I can relate to the survivor standpoint, but I can really relate to the caregiver standpoint too, right? Because they're even feeling more out of control. What did I need? What do I need? I'd like to say it's the quiet space to and almost like regain myself, but that fatigue is so debilitating. I mean, that was the thing that I would go to my appointments with. It's like, can we do something about this fatigue? Because it just takes you down and you don't have any resources. So it's like you feel useless, purposeless, without the capacity to like deal with everything. And you're also, you said it, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but everything is ticking me off. So, how do I express myself, come back to myself, and not hurt anyone? So, I'm using all this energy. I don't know if this is going to even sound clear. I'm using all this energy to dampen it down so that I don't hurt anybody's feelings and then have to worry about and be anxious about cleaning that up later. To get back to myself and to build those reserves.
Yeah. So what comes up for me and my assumption of this experience, right? Because I've only really been there on the caregiver side. However, I was also very young, so I did not have to hold a lot of responsibility at that time. But like this frustration that you feel that seems to want to kind of organically coming out as screaming and not caring about anyone's feelings and saying those greedy things might be exactly what is needed. And I think that's okay. I think that the best thing in that situation is to try to communicate. Like, I'm just I have cancer, okay? Because it's not we know, true, but it's also just like I don't have the capacity right now to filter myself, and I need you to understand that and be okay with it. I need you to know that I'm going to say things that I do not mean. I'm just really frustrated. I don't know what to do. And so I just need a really safe space to just scream and cry and pout and blame and hate and know that that's not who I am at my core, but it's what I need right now to get through to get through this moment, to get through all of this. And so that way I don't have to carry the heaviness and the weight of these really angry emotions that feel like you just touch me and it sets me off. I need to just set them off when they come so that way I can release them and maybe have those moments of soft appreciation and joy outside of them without holding on to it. Does that feel true?
I think first off, it's not frustration, Alicia. It is downright anger and maybe even seeping over into rage. And it's not that anyone, well, necessarily has crossed the boundary. It's more like cancer itself has made you feel invisible in that it's like, why? why are you why me? And we tend to, as survivors and patients, it's like, or maybe even caregivers, we don't want to say why me, because that's kind of like asking for a pity party. But it is that intenseness that we want to be seen and heard and connected, but we're so, let's say, really tender and fragile that we don't necessarily have the capacity or the ability to kindly communicate. I'm going to be like this. It's going to come out like this. I have cancer, but I can't say things nicely. And um, that in itself, oh, that hurt my throat just by saying that. That in itself hurts us, hurts them. Ooh, I
Yeah,
don't
I feel
know.
like you've got a lot here right now, and I can feel you tapping back into this energy that you
Mhm.
had that maybe you didn't have to release then. I am just a little confused because I kind of said that like you need a safe space to release that, and you said no, and then you did like say that you do need to release that. So can
Oh,
you talk more?
I
Yeah.
wasn't referring to the safe place. The safe place, yes, absolutely. Need a safe space. Not always available, kind of hard to ask for. But the part I meant to say no is kindly ask for your what you need, because it the ability to do it in that space, that tone, that way, it's kind of not available.
Oh yeah, and I definitely was not recommending that or suggesting that it had to come out kindly. I think that might have been an assumption. My question that I was asking was from my understanding, for someone who's never been a patient, it feels as though we need a safe space to say all the crazy mean things.
What is a safe space in that whole scenario of I don't feel well, I'm going through treatment, or for the caregiver, I'm doing everything that I can, and my beloved is still like angry and freaking out, and how do I deal with that? So there's the emotions happening all over the place, and lots of fire, and lots of not well directed fire. So let's come back to in a safe space where you could say anything and there's no retribution and there's no consequence. How can we create that? How do we create that safe space? Where do we go? What do we do? It's all the questions of yes.
So I just want to pull you back even further because I think the assumption that's coming up from you in response to what I was saying was that it's on the responsibility is on the patient. Where I don't think it is. I mean, I think that there's a little bit more clarity for there that they need that, but you're right, they're likely not in a space to ask for it kindly, which is totally fine. Not everything has to come out kindly. I mean, ideally kindness would be great, as you've reminded me my whole life, but it's not always going to come out in such a way. And so I think that's really a message to the people who are creating this space, this container for the patient to come into, because the patient's going through enough. We're not asking them to do anything more. I could only imagine the added exhaustion that comes along with like going to an appointment, because going to an appointment feels emotionally terrible as it is. To add that extra fatigue, completely awful. And unfortunately, necessary. So I think this is really a message for anyone who's holding the space, the loved ones, wherever they are in theirs too, whoever is able to hold that space knowing that this is what is needed, right? And so that's also like that toxic positivity. It's not on the duty of the patient to be saying, actually, like, no, they don't need to educate. They're going through it. They're in their lesson right now and they're figuring their things out in the most volatile, stressful, like anger inducing, exhausting way. For those of us who are holding the space for them, showing up for them, first of all, let's show up fully and let's create a space where they feel actually safe to do that. So I think that's really the ask here. It's not for the patient, it's recognizing what they need without them needing to ask for it and being able to show up for them again and again and again. Because even when it seems like they're trying to push you away with their words, what they really need is for you to be there. No, I do want to come back to there was a moment when you were like, this is exactly how they feel. And so you spoke from what felt like a very visceral moment in your experience. You're like, I'm too tired. And like, I can't say it kindly. Like, I can't deliver it. And there was a lot of fire from you coming from that. And I just want to like take a moment to like feel that with you, and like, let's, if you're into it, if you're available for it, I would love to kind of revisit that, because that felt like a really big moment here for you.
I kind of transcended from that because my strategic mind and brain is going to, here's where a cancer journey coach is so valuable, because even if we try to do it in the same room, so when I say we, I'm stepping into the patient space right now, or the survivor, patient survivor thriver space, and we're going through that personal cancer journey, and being in the same room, we kind of need like a moderator so that we could have that would make the space safer, but we're not there yet. It feels like I need my cancer journey coach who's got this incredibly safe container where I can say absolutely everything, and they're not going to take it personally. They're holding the space to find myself, which is what I really wanted to do, right? Beyond that fatigue, fatigue infused anger, and that last nerve space. And then I can come back and be with whomever. And that includes my docs, my nurse, I mean, just whoever. But it's like I need that safe space where there's absolutely no consequence of me saying the most horrific, mean things, because it just feels yucky, for a really technical word, yucky. And to be that tired and not know what to do, where to go, how to be in this. So I kind of moved away from it, although you probably feel like I'm coming back. I don't know. What do you see?
Well, I think I totally understand if you moved out of it. I think that there was this wave that peaked, and I totally understand if you're on the downturn of it too, because once you get loud, and sometimes that's the energy being released, once you're able to get loud and then breathe out of it and take a moment, there's an understandable drop in that energy. So when you have that moment where you kind of get to release it, there is this drop off that happens, and I so understand that. So I understand if you're not right there with it, like you were, like that, like it felt like a very, it's reminded me of moments. I mean, you are my mother. I've seen you in all different like emotions and levels of emotional intelligence and different expressions. I've known you literally all my life. So I was like very much recognizing that, instances in that kind of acceleration of your energy where you're released and able to let it go. But honestly, like, it can be a bit triggering for me. So I'm still, God, I'm getting teary. I'm like feeling the like reverberation from it, which is so okay. But it was very triggering in the moment, which was, it's not your fault or anything like that, but the impact of it was really heavy, and I didn't realize that until as I'm processing it right now. So it's
So what
still with
else?
me.
Yeah. So what do you need to
Yeah.
say about that? Because this happens too. And
Yeah.
we don't, I think giving space for it is really important.
Yeah. God, I say I'm not an easy crier. I'm like, here I am. Interesting. So interesting. I don't feel bad. I'm actually really like proud of myself for the moment of recognition. But it's funny because it's like, oh, I know that. I know that energy. Like, I feel it through a camera, and I remember it. I remember like being a little kid and being scared of it, because I didn't know how to handle it. And I'm really proud of myself for recognizing it. Obviously, there's still like reaction for
Yeah.
hearing here.
Yeah.
But for me personally, it's like, I still want you to be able to have that. And I still want anyone who's on their cancer journey to be able to release that. And to be able to, even if it comes out in that way, right, which feels very unkind, it still needs to. There needs to be that release. But it is where a cancer journey coach is really helpful, because it's better than doing it to your kid.
Right. 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 And Oh my goodness. So this is such an important moment to just kind of like slow down and pause because you were very young when I was first diagnosed. You were 4 years old and you went through all of my five cancers until what, 2012, from 4 to 18.
Yeah, not like 18, 19. And then even with the last one, even though I was away at college, I remember coming home and going to appointments with you. Of course, you wouldn't tell me that it was cancer, but we were still going to appointments and doing big visits like that. Yeah.
It's a long time. So 14 years of me having fatigue and my nerves on the surface. And so this fire coming out is real.
Yeah.
And it's traumatic, I would say. It's that whoo.
Yeah.
So I so understand and have space and time to like process this with you. If I'm the right one. If you need a cancer journey coach, yes, we have those too. But I don't want you to have this unprocessed ball that travels with you. It's like let's talk about it. Let's both just like open up our kimonos and say, well, first off, I'm sorry. Like really sorry that that happened. I can't take it away. That's the past, but I could say I'm sorry. I can forgive myself. I could forgive you. We could do the processes.
Yeah, and I don't think that I need you to apologize because I know that you've never meant it, and I know that you know like the impact that you have had in the past. I mean, we've talked about this many times. It's not that there's anything abusive or like anything really crazy. It's even just small things like that. But it's so interesting to me that in that moment that was like, whoa, I was right back to being a kid and being like, and it feels actually quite good to be able to talk about it now. It's kind of crazy that's happening during a podcast recording, but I'm okay. I really
Might
am.
be our best podcast yet.
I'm scared to watch this back.
But real, I'm being real. It's like,
Right. For no point in my life, not even now, not even the idea of being, having that trigger in the moment has ever made me love you less. Ever. Like, Shariann's
that
my best
one.
friend. Sharian's my best friend, you're my mom, you're my boss, but I just feel like you're my partner in life. And so I get to be this real and I get to, I mean, even if I was blaming you right now, I know you'd hold that space, but I know that there is no blame here. It's, if you were ever wondering what kind of emotional journey we've gone through together, I feel like this is quite indicative of having those moments together and having the anger in your cancer journey and feeling like you need to be in a space that really allows it so that you don't create trauma for people that you're around. If you have the energy and the ability to communicate it with the people in your life and be like, I don't mean it, and to be like, I just have cancer and I'm tired and I'm angry and it's just not going to come out in the best way. And I'm really sorry. I'm doing my best and I want to let you know that ahead of time. I'm not saying it would solve all our problems, but it's
Yeah, maybe
definitely,
not for a 4-year-old, but
no,
I get it.
no matter how much emotional intelligence training you would give a child, there's something about needing to experience some of those things to really understand the impact.
Right.
Like we don't know how strong we can be or that we are until we're asked to be in those situations. And I feel so much stronger as the person that I am now, knowing what I know, learning from you and from everyone at the Cancer Journey Institute, even how to be in this place and to have this experience and not feel slighted, feel angry, feel like I have to suppress myself or not cry. I'm still blown away that I just cried. That's crazy. I've
Or
said
let
on
me
so many podcast episodes that I do not cry. I'm a liar.
know. And when it overflows, it's here. And we stop for tears at the
Yeah.
Cancer Journey Institute. But I, as a person, will stop to hear. Now, could I do that back then? Probably not, because I was so busy trying to protect myself that I couldn't protect anybody else. And that's that fear of, if I really show you how I'm feeling, because people ask, it's like, how are you doing? And I'm like, You can't handle the truth. You're right. That the whole Jack Nicholas thing. What's
No,
his name? Last name?
Nicholson, you're right.
Nicholson quote. It's like, I can't handle it. How angry I am for being in this situation and feeling this way and still trying to put one foot in front of the other. So, I mean, there's two sides. And then I'm hearing your side. It's like, you're really scary right now. And I don't feel safe. And so I'm pulling back and holding this inside, which, my goodness, yeah, I wish we could have created a safe space for you back then to process what was happening.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that that's why we do a lot of the work we do now, because we don't want this to be, I mean, not that, this ended up so negatively, but that we don't have to impact the people we love like that. And we only know that we want something different when we know that we've done it some other way, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
there's no other way to know. Also, at 4 years old, like, really, what was I going to learn? I was just trying to get my alphabet in my pocket. Like, I don't think I would have been able to deal with that whole, like, emotional impact thing of it. Um, and 4-year-old trying to understand what cancer is.
Right,
Um,
right.
in itself, all I knew was mommy was tired. And like truly for because you had 4 cancers in my youth. Like that's all I really understood at that time. So this was a crazy episode. Shall I do a takeaway
We can
now?
look at it now, but like, whoa, what did we just go through?
Yeah,
And that's real. That's real life.
yeah,
And actually, I'm really glad that it came up because we can show to you guys out there what can happen even years after. Because Alicia's not 4 anymore. She's 31. I mean, many, many, many years have gone by, and you've done lots of your own processing. And yet, here, this was a moment to be had together.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like we both have had moments where we went back to back in the past in those moments and like reliving some of that experience for ourselves. And honestly, it gets to kind of show you how far we've come, but also it really recognizes like the space that a cancer patient is in with their anger and their tiredness and how it reverberates out to their community and to their loved ones. As much love as there is here and with anyone in their situations, we can still be impacted. And so when we have a space that we know is absolutely safe, like with a cancer journey coach, you get to like everyone gets a safer space to be in. Everyone gets tools that support them and everyone feels like they're not going through it alone. And so, at the Cancer Journey Institute, like our mission is to change the way cancer is being held in that way. We're not wanting to completely change everyone and their mindset. We're just trying to improve the experience because we don't have to be lashing out at absolutely everyone and making everyone think that we're angry, which isolates ourselves and we're already tired and we can have a better experience that's much more understood and held and expressive and authentic to who you are and still showing the loving person that you are as well, even if it's not coming out always right on the surface.
Yes.
I'm going to put that
Is
as
that-
my takeaway.
Okay. And I'm going to stop.
Pesh. Physically, I feel my body a lot right now. I'm a 4.6. Emotionally, I am a 4.7. It's a 4.4. Hope is a 4.4. And my word is, well, processing.
I can smile now, but that was to be really, transparent. It's like, whoa, what just happened? But that's life. And I do like life. So I love life. Okay. My takeaway is, and it was, I mean, I think I wanted to segue into what you had said that I know that what we, because of our knowing, we're saying you can say these things kind of to preface whatever happens while you're on your cancer journey and fatigued and raw. But here's the other thing. You can clean it up after. If you know that I just pooped on that person, I just pooped on that situation, and you can find some vulnerability in yourself to say, okay, I am so sorry about what happened. I am feeling raw and fragile and delicate. And so I don't have the resources that I would in a normal situation. So forgive me. I'm sorry. That's not how I really wanted to come across, or whatever you need to do to kind of clean up the poop. I highly recommend that, not for just the other person, but for yourself. It feels good to know, oh, crap, I just did a mess up. And then to go back and say, do I need to do anything with you? Did I mess up with you? What are you feeling from that situation or that conversation? And then clean it up with them. And then all of a sudden, I have a nice clean little space now instead of filled with poop that we hold for years. And I'm not saying that you held it, it just has residue of that impact that that little girl went through when mommy lashed out because she just had nothing, no reserves left. My PESH is physically 4.3, emotionally feeling it all 4.75, spirit 4.6, hope 4.4, and my word right now is like really present.
Well, thank you for joining us today. It was a big episode. So thank you for being here, and we'll be back next week.
Have a lovely rest of your day, and remember, you're so much more resourceful and powerful than you realize.